Hey friends, College Essay Guy here. This is your college application basics, a beginner's guide. This is the 101 if you have no idea where to start. Now, by the end of this video, I'm going to share with you some of my favorite resources, including 3 that I think are really going to help jumpstart your process. But let's start at the beginning. What even is the goal of your college application? Well, to put it simply, the goal of your college application is to demonstrate the skills, qualities, values, and interests that you're going to bring with you to a college campus. You're trying to demonstrate what kind of community member you're going to be. So how does the application actually look? What are the elements? What do colleges care about? Take a look at this image. The thing that colleges care about most are your grades and test scores. You can see that here. Side note, if you want to learn more about these things, I did a whole podcast series on this called What Colleges Want. I'll link it below. But here's the 35,000 foot view. As you'll notice on the chart, the thing colleges care about most are your GPA and the strength of your high school curriculum, which is to say, were your classes actually challenging? The second thing they care about is positive character attributes, which is to say, what are these qualities that you're going to be bringing with you to the college campus? Things that are shown through like your essays and your recommendation letters. You'll notice the next thing they care about is your essay or writing sample. Now, this could be your personal statement or your supplemental essays, which we'll get into in just a few minutes. After that, we've got things that are less important, like demonstrated interest, which is a whole separate thing that I won't get into in this video, your recommendation letters, your extracurricular activities, etc. Now, the things toward the bottom of the list are less important, with the exception of standardized test scores. Now, some schools that you'll apply to will require standardized tests and some won't. And if you're trying to figure out which schools do care about SAT and ACT scores and which don't, just look up the name of the school and type in standardized test score, and it'll let you know if they require it or not. Okay, next, how do you actually apply to college? Well, there are a few different application systems out there. What the Common App is, it's basically a platform where a bunch of colleges have come together and said, hey, fill in your basic information, put your essay or essays in there, and then you can send it all at once with application fees that are particular to each of the different schools. Now, side note, if you're a low-income student, you can get fee waivers, which is to say you can apply for free, and I'll link below this video to a guide on how to do that. But essentially, the Common App has some separate elements, and I'll walk you through them briefly. So what are the elements of the Common App? We've got the profile section, which is like your name, date of birth, basic information, etc. And then you've got your education section, which is like schools you've been to. Then you've got testing, and all of these are pretty straightforward. You just basically put in the information. But then you get this section called activities. Now, this is your resume, your brag sheet, the place where you can basically say all the awesome things you've done that are not academic specific. I've got a whole guide. I've got a lot to say about this. I'll link it below. But my 2 bits of advice for this are you want to be really succinct because you've only got these short descriptions for these, and you want to demonstrate what you've done. And you'll probably do this by using lots of active verbs. More on that in the link below. Then we've got this section called the additional information section. And this is a part of your application where essentially anything that didn't fit in your activities list or, I don't know, your awards list or your personal statement, you can put it here. And I'll link below this video to a whole guide on the additional information section. Writing is a section where you'll basically put in your personal statement, which is to say your college essay. It's usually about 650 words, and it's going to demonstrate, like I said, the skills, qualities, values, and interests that aren't already demonstrated somewhere else in the application. Now, I've got tons more to say about that. I would say the best place to start is in the link below this video. You'll find my free guide to the personal statement. That's an awesome place to get brainstorming on different topics. Next, we've got the courses and grades section, which also is pretty self-explanatory. And finally, we've got something called the supplemental essay section. So supplemental essays are essays besides your personal statement / college essay that particular colleges and universities require. Now, just to be clear, not every college requires supplemental essays, but some schools will require like one essay, like why do you want to attend our institution? And another will maybe require like 5 different essays. And you'll really want to spend a lot of time on these because in some cases, colleges care even more about the supplemental essays than they do about the personal statement. Now, some schools are not on the Common App, unfortunately. Schools like University of California schools, the University of Texas schools, MIT, Georgetown. Oh, and by the way, if you've got questions about the UC, which is to say University of California application, I've got tons to say about it. Just Google University of California College Essay Guide, and you'll find so much on that particular application. All right, now I want to share with you some of my most essential, most important resource hubs. First of all, if you identify as a first generation or low income student, we've got something called our FGLI Resource Hub. And here you'll find some really awesome essential resources that you can dive into. And it's going to cover things like the personal statement, how to get started, and financial aid, how to think about it, how to find ways to afford college. If you'd like more resources, or if you're not a low-income student, check out our college application hub, because there's so much here on everything from should you apply early action, early decision, to how do you write a scholarship essay, and so much more. You'll find that linked below this video as well. The third hub we have is for international students. So if you're applying from outside the US into the US, check out these resources. They're specifically for you. And I would say in particular, check out the one on the top mistakes that international students make when applying to college. Finally, if you're a counselor watching this, we've got a whole hub just for you. It's called our Public School and Charter School Counselor Resource Hub. And on there, we've got tons of templates, like how to start your office if you're just starting out, what are those essential resources? And my favorite resource there is our email templates. So if you're trying to figure out, and it's April, what to say to your juniors, you'll find basically a folder that says April 11th grade, and they're email templates with content that you can copy and paste into your own emails and tweak and use however you like. You'll also find linked there something called our Family Handbook, which you as a counselor can edit, put in your school-specific stuff, put your own logo on it, and send out to your families. Finally, here are 3 of my favorite resources for getting started. Number 1, in that aforementioned Family Handbook, you'll find something called our College Application Timeline. And this is great for students or parents or counselors, but it gives you basically the bullet points for what to be doing in 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade. We'll link it below. Number 2, if you're a junior or a senior and you're writing your college essays, I want to recommend something called my Essay Tracker, which is basically a spreadsheet where you can put all the different supplemental essays that you're going to be writing, and you can see basically the scope of work that you're going to have ahead of you. Finally, if you're trying to figure out what do I even tell colleges, what do I want to show them, you can do something called my Everything I Want Colleges to Know About Me exercise. At the most 30 minutes, and you can kind of get all that stuff that's in your head out onto the page and start dreaming big and thinking about what are all these sides that are going to show my skills, my qualities, my values, my interests. If you'd like help through this process, we'd love to help you. We have an awesome team that's standing by that would love to support you. And if you're like, I can't afford one-on-one help, don't worry. We've got something called our Match Letters program, where we give 10 hours of free essay and application help to students who identify as low income. And you have to qualify for that, but we'd love to support you, and we don't want finances to be a barrier. Much love, like, subscribe, all the things, and I'll see you soon.